Retirement is a lot more fun to talk about than insurance. Instead of planning for the unexpected, now you're talking about living and actually enjoying the life you've worked so hard to build. Let's be honest, most people are excited to talk about retirement. If someone gets excited about life insurance, that's when I start to worry. But here's the problem. Most retirement goals sound good, but they're far too vague. People say things like, I want to retire early, I want to be comfortable, or I want to travel. Those sound like goals, but they're not. What does early actually mean? What does comfortable look like for you? Where do you want to travel, and how often? Without clear answers, these aren't real objectives, they're just ideas. The first step in defining your retirement is simple. When do you want to retire? Most people joke and say tomorrow, regardless of their age. But realistically, most retire somewhere between 60 and 65. You need to choose a starting point. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it gives you something to work toward. The next question is just as important. How much money do you need to live the life you want? A good place to start is your life today. If you retired today, would you be comfortable with your current lifestyle? Most people say yes. Very few people aim to have a higher standard of living in retirement than they do while working. Here's something many people overlook. Retirement doesn't just mean you stop working, it means you gain time. When you're working, you're busy most of the week. In retirement, you suddenly have 7 days a week to spend money instead of just 2. Unless you plan to sit at home most of the time, you'll likely spend more on activities, travel, and experiences. That's why many retirees end up spending 80% to 100% of what they were earning before retirement. This is why it's so important not to let someone else define your retirement for you. No one understands your life, your values, or your goals better than you do. When you rely on general rules of thumb, you increase the chances of disappointment later. Now let's talk about something most people ignore: inflation. What feels like a comfortable income today won't have the same purchasing power in the future. Something that costs $75,000 per year today could easily require well over $120,000 in the future just to maintain the same lifestyle. When people see those large future numbers, it can feel overwhelming. And when people feel overwhelmed, they often don't start at all. That's why it's so important to focus on today's dollars when defining your retirement goal. Start with a number that makes sense for your life right now. Once you have that, you can adjust for inflation later. Trying to think in future dollars from the beginning makes it much harder to make clear, confident decisions. At this point, your goal is to define two things: your retirement age and your monthly income need in today's dollars. That becomes your target. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's not set in stone. Life will change, your priorities will evolve, and your plan should evolve with them. But you still need a target. Without one, you're just guessing. The clearer your retirement goal, the more confident you will feel in your decisions, and the more likely you are to create the kind of life you actually want to live. So start today. Define your retirement, and take the first step toward making it real.